What is up, everybody? Proie here. Now, if you know me personally, you probably know that I love to take road trips, whether it just be 1 or 2 days within the Pennsylvania, Ohio, or West Virginia area. I found a lot of the best places to go for photography or just to hang out for the day, and I definitely intend on continuing that in the future. So what I've done is compiled the top 5 epic road trips in North America and wanted to share these with you. So I've looked at mileage, time frames, as well as the best possible locations to get the most out of your drive, and I want to share these results with you guys. So let's get started. For the 4x4 enthusiasts out there, the first drive would have to be the Rubicon Trail. This drive is 22 miles in length and it runs through a large portion of the Sierra Nevada. This road trip would be part 4-wheel drive and part road. It runs through the El Dorado, Tahoe National Forest, and it actually ends at Lake Tahoe itself. The Rubicon Trail has always been at the top of my list, mainly because I am a Jeep junkie myself. I'd love to actually go out and test a Jeep out, join a group, and actually get a full tour of these forests. Number 2 on my list has got to be the Pacific Coast Highway. It's probably one of the most famous road trips in our country, ranging anywhere from San Francisco down to San Diego, but I'd love to push the limit even further and go all the way up to Olympia National Park in Washington and work my way all the way down south to San Diego. It's over 1,000 miles in length, so it would probably be a multi-day drive, but the scenery and everything in between just looks too good to pass up. So you can start with Olympia National Park, which is pretty incredible. If you've never checked that out, I'll put a link down below. South of there, you run into the Pacific Coast, which has the famous cliff sides and one of the best looking drives out in our country. And this would be one of the only road trips that you can get a full feel for the mountains and the Pacific Coast. Number 3 on my list, and probably the most famous drive, would be the Route 66 drive from Chicago, Illinois down to Santa Barbara. This roadway by itself has been featured in multiple films as well as multiple documentaries, kind of showcasing the history in that road and our country, laced with diners, different drive-ins, different places to hang out, different hotels and restaurants, just about anything in between. It just looks incredible from start to finish. You do have great scenery all the way down, and just kind of seeing our country from a historical standpoint is always something I've been a fan of. Route 66 is 2,448 miles, so it is definitely a multi-day drive. You'd probably have to find a hotel somewhere in between as well, just to really get down and relax, take a shower, and just stop driving for a little bit. This is something that I've had on my list for a long time that I've wanted to do ever since I was a kid, so that's why it's on my bucket list as well. Probably the most scenic drive I have on this list would be from Monument Valley, Arizona to Death Valley, California. It would be the only true desert drive that I'd be really willing to take, so it would have to be sometime late fall or early winter just to avoid the summer heat, but I think the scenery alone would make this drive absolutely amazing. Monument Valley has been one of my hot spots that I've cared to visit in my entire life, mainly when I started photography alone, just because I was seeing some of these incredible shots of the scenery and the rock formations that are sitting out in the middle of this desert. Death Valley to me has always been a cool looking hotspot, mainly because of the films I've seen about it and the different stories you hear about Death Valley itself. It just seems like a cool spot to hang out or just to swing through, not necessarily spend too much time. That's why I put it on one of my epic road trips. The last drive that I really want to take sometime in my life is probably the one that I want to put at the top of the list. It's the one that I've thought about for a long time now. Some of you have probably taken this drive already. If you have, please let me know how it was down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, but it's from Banff National Park in Canada all the way up to Jasper National Park in northern Alberta. This drive to me would probably be the most important, mainly because it's the most secluded and kind of away from everything else. The road itself is called the Icefields Highway, or known as the Icefields Highway, predominantly because it is the location where all of the glaciers running off the Rockies in Canada come to one single point. So line the entire highway is where the glacier runoff comes down. We have these crystal blue glacier runoffs and lakes. To me, that is where the original Rockies are. Since the glaciers are still present, you don't have the sawed-off look that we get sometimes down in our country. You still have very rocky, very scenic wilderness up north. This drive would be one of the shortest at 179 miles, so it's easy to do in one day, up and back. My plan is to stay in Banff, or the town of Banff, and work my way north from there. So that one might be happening sooner than later. I actually think I'm gonna try and get that one knocked out before the end of 2018. It was my personal New Year's resolution to be able to travel up to Canada just to see how incredible their countryside really is. So that about wraps it up for today. If you like this video, please hit that like button, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you've done in your own personal road trips. I'd love to hear what's going on out there. Also, I'm always open for suggestion on future drives for myself. I do spend a lot of time behind the driver's seat of my Jeep, and I'd love to see the rest of our country as well as Canada, just to get out a bit more and to see more of these scenic locations. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.